Hi, I'm Steve Becker. I'm a licensed clinical social worker in Westfield, New Jersey. I've written a book called The Inner World of the Psychopath, a definitive primer on the psychopathic personality. It's available on Amazon. I hope you'll check it out. The reviews so far have been terrific. I am someone who's written and blogged prolifically on psychopathy, sociopathy, or psychopaths, sociopaths for quite a few years. It's become a clinical specialty of mine. I'm in private practice in Westfield. I'm going to be doing a series of videos, highly unscripted. That will probably be pretty evident as you see me speak. I prefer my videos to be pretty unstructured and a little bit more spontaneous, even at the cost of seeming, seamlessly articulate. But the purpose of these videos, this being the first in what many to come, is to really provide my viewers with an understanding, a clear, simple, but thorough understanding, as my book does, for a general audience of who psychopaths are, and what really differentiates them from non-psychopaths. The Inner World of the Psychopath, the title of my book, and what really intrigues me when I use the term inner world, is just the psychopath's mentality. Psychopaths really possess a mentality that's quite fascinating, and that really best differentiates them from non-psychopathic mentalities. I make no differentiation or no real significant distinction. In fact, I make no distinction between psychopath, sociopath, psychopathy, sociopathy. These are needlessly confusing terms insofar as they mean the same thing. I choose to use the terms psychopath and psychopathy in my work, and in these videos I'll be doing that. I think it's important and useful to know what we mean by psychopathic personality, if for no other reason that there are a lot of psychopathic personalities out there in the general population. Responsible estimates put the numbers of psychopaths in the general population, it's somewhere around 1%. And so while that may not seem like a gigantic figure, when you consider the magnitude of the population at large, 1% really is in fact a quite significant figure, and it really guarantees that we will have crossed paths with psychopaths in our lives, and we'll be crossing paths with psychopathic personalities. The best we can hope for is that we don't become involved in a devastating, extremely harmful way with the psychopaths with whom we do cross paths. And I think that the more we basically know about psychopaths, if we have a working knowledge of who they are, then I think it can arm us with some protection. So in this first of many fairly short videos to come, I really want to just sort of establish a working definition of what we mean when we use the term psychopath. There are more male psychopaths in the general population than female, but that's not to say that there aren't female psychopaths out there. There surely are. I think the most important thing, to keep things quite simple, because it's not necessary to complicate things here, is that when we talk about a psychopathic personality, we're talking about an individual who will have a history of exploiting others, violating others, transgressing others' space, rights, dignity, safety, and most importantly, who will have a history of exploiting others without remorse. That becomes the central working definition of a psychopathic individual. Someone who has a history, a tendency, a capacity to exploit others for his or her own gratification or gain without remorse, with a chilling indifference to the harm that he or she causes others, to go after, to take from others, to seize from others what he or she wants. This is really what separates psychopaths from non-psychopaths. Psychopaths typically will have certain traits, what might be called psychopathic traits. Among them, I've even alluded sort of to a missing conscience. Psychopaths are typically deceptive personalities, manipulative, often glib, meaning kind of smooth talking. Callousness is a trait associated with psychopathic personality. Any number, lying, psychopathic lying. I've got a video already on my YouTube channel that addresses that, but I'll be addressing that ahead as well. I've identified the trait of audacity as being very psychopathic. Psychopaths are often very audacious personalities. But the important thing for now to consider is that more telling than these particular traits are that are often associated with psychopathy and psychopaths is how psychopaths deploy these traits. Psychopaths deploy these particular traits psychopathically, which is to say that qualities such as manipulativeness in and of themselves are not psychopathic. Most of us are capable of deception, manipulation, lying, even callousness. Maybe not all of us, but most of us can relate to these particular traits. But psychopathic personalities use these traits. They express them in exploitative ways. And that really, again, gets us back to the essence of the psychopath's mentality. His or hers is an exploitative mentality, utilizing these various traits exploitively. For now, that's where I want to leave things, just having established this sort of, again, basic working definition of who the psychopath is and a beginning understanding of the psychopath's mentality, which is an exploitive mentality without conscience, without a conscience. It's a transgressive mentality. It's a push the envelope mentality, a get over on others mentality, with an alarming, shocking, jaw-dropping disregard for the harmful impact that he or she has on others, as he or she goes after the things and the gratifications that he or she wants. I'll leave it at that for now. I hope you'll check out my subsequent videos, all of which will be layering on top of each other, and hopefully each one of them, adding a new dimension to our understanding of psychopathy and psychopathic personality. Thanks for listening.